whilst I was away, I just having some bandwidth issues, but I'm going to try to soldier through. And hopefully there's enough material on the stream that you guys can refer to it and it sort of makes sense. I had a look at yesterday's streams and they were god awful in terms of visual quality. But let's try and work our way through here. There's an update on the Unreal. So even though I do have Unreal Engine 26 installing, I've got 25.4, so it's enough to get us going. And then the 26 4.26, that's a beta preview build anyway, so would introduce a lot of unknown factors. Okay, so let's kind of get into this. One of the things that I did do is I took a chance and I renamed the server on this connection, but hopefully we won't run into any issues. I've named this alkangart-2 vpnazure.net. There's a lot of scary windows opening up about whether or not I wanted to adjust how Windows dealt with certificates and things like that, stuff I don't really know much about. So I clicked through it real quickly, crossed my fingers, and said, ugh, I'm not even going to bother trying to change the hub name. So in theory, though, I should be able to add as many connections as I need. So I'm thinking later on, if I want to kind of investigate this more seriously, I'll add another sort of VPN server setting and then just rename it what I want to name it and then take it from there. Connection to our server here hasn't been touched. We should be okay, right? So the one way to make this work is to make sure that there is an identical copy of the Unreal Engine game running on both machines. It's the only way it's going to work. Or as many people as you generally have on your team, they all have to be working from the same copy of the game engine, right? So typically in the past, we would use Perforce. I was forced to rip down our Perforce server as we moved locations on campus, so I'll need to set that up. I'll also stream that so you guys have an idea of how to set up Perforce. For those of you guys who don't know what Perforce is, it's basically a version control server. So what it does is it holds the version of your game, and what ends up happening is everybody on the team downloads the same copy from Perforce, and it pretty much installs itself on your machine, kind of installs it, more like replicates a copy from the Perforce server on your machine. And when you're done working, at the end of the day, everybody checks in their changes and that main copy on Perforce gets updated. And then the next time you log in, it updates everybody on the team. So it just makes sure that everybody's working in the same project context. So in this case, I'm just going to launch 254 on. So I'm going to enlarge that so that I can see a little bit better what I'm doing, right? So I was going to launch a previous instance of the Project Hyper, but it's very, very large and unwieldy at the moment. So let's try and get at least a test case scenario working. Up Unreal, we'll set up a bare bones project and kind of walk through the various different plugins that you need to have working. One of the things I'm hoping to tackle today as well, time permitting, is also to take a second look at the Maya Live Link or the Unreal Engine Live Link functionality. I explored it 2 years ago. And the idea behind it is an Unreal Engine window open, and any changes you make inside of Maya would be happening in real time in your Unreal Engine. And that is a phenomenal working. When I was working on Star Wars The Force Unleashed, we had a similar sort of connection to the game engine with some tools written in C# at the time. And it made life so much easier. I didn't implement the Live Link last time because the Live Link only worked in an ancillary window inside of Unreal. So to get it to work, I'd have to open up the model viewer or the animation preview window to see the Maya and see exactly how what I'm designing is going to look in the Unreal Engine, right? So let's see if we can set that up and get that going. We're going to have connection dropouts with the server machine just because the internet has been acting dodgy lately, but we'll give it a try. So in this particular case, I haven't really investigated these new categories yet. I usually start with a blank project, but let's go for it. Let's see what the film and television and live events template offers us. So we can go blank, we can go virtual production, contains functionality for VR scouting, virtual camera, 3D video, live compositing, and then I use this particular sort of at the time that their director's shooting takes to be able to preview what that might look like in context with 3D character, 3D object, 3D props, etc. Right? That was the idea. Now, they do that. They do sort of previs, post-viz, tech-viz, etc. using the Unreal Engine game engine and Cinema. But the problem with that is that there is a little bit of a delay time, right? So plates have to be shipped over, and assets have to be generated. The scene has to be laid out, put together, and then version control at the moment, unfortunately, is via my cloud drive, my Google Cloud Drive. I say unfortunately because because it's streaming data live, we will be kind of hampered by latency. This is the beauty of Perforce. Perforce actually streams the copy of the game engine to your local hard drive, builds the whole project there. So you're actually iterating off of things from your local hard drive. So there's no latency, right? But in absence of Perforce, we're going to have to suffer through this. And but if we start with a blank project, we should, provided we don't keep dropping our connection on the network. So just having a look here. Yeah, okay, so we're back, and I'm gonna go into the season 1 release. Now do need to build a bit of a teaser trailer, so we'll pop in there. I'm just taking a quick look at the naming conventions. SO1, EO1. Yes, so I believe with the trailer conventions, I was using Team. Let's come over here to our client machine and launch the same version of Unreal. It's going through its prerequisites. So, yeah. All right. It'll open up eventually. So let's wait for that guy to open up, and then we can using our plugins. Right? So that should free up a little bit more. All right. So I'm going to go to the Unreal Engine documentation. Just as a side note, Unreal's been really good at keeping their documentation up to date. I never find any information. Let's just say every time they do a point release, the documentation's right there with it, right? So it's quite good. There's a lot of software companies out there where, okay, so that's doing its thing. Yeah, one of the things that I like about, right, especially something, that's quite ambitious years, and in that time, who knows who you'll be able to recruit, who will want to jump on and contribute a few things, right? So having a project structure that sort of supports that accomplishes two things. First of all, it gets you ready to move into a studio situation because you're very, very familiar with how pipelines work, even if you're simulating it on your own. And second, you have a pipeline set up. So anybody can drop in any location at all, be able to join your project, do some work, and you guys can have a blast inside the multi-user experience inside of Unreal, and away you go, right? So it accomplishes a few different things. For me, also, I've got a personal interest invested in it. That more than this live link, right? So I guess Unreal's still creating the project. So let's pop in here. Let's take a quick look at the video. You guys will get the idea. Ooh, and that's taken forever as well. 85% over the last 2 minutes. That's not good. Server. Yeah, we have massive connection issues today. I'm not entirely sure who the culprit is in terms of that, but we're gonna just try to do our thing. Yeah,